What is up, everybody? We are in the pit with Josh and Mosh. It's Thursday night. You know that's what we do. It's that time. So let's just get the party started. Let's bring in numero dos. What is happening, my brother?
Man, we are on the heels of a crazy weekend, and we've got a great show to talk about it. We're missing a couple of our friends. Numero Trace, Pure Bros, y'all know him. He can't be here again because he's probably in a fight. He's probably in a jet on his way to Abu Dhabi, if I'm being real. Like, my man has always something going on.
Yeah.
Melanie, as you guys all know, is on the well, you may not know, but Mission Pro is actually on the road to a show in North Carolina. So
Greensboro
is she offered to be here, but based on our geographical estimations, she should be driving through middle of fucking nowhere right about now.
They're in Mississippi right now.
We went ahead and gave Mel the night off, and so he's got to hang out with the two ball guys tonight. And Numero Uno's got a little bit of lucha news.
That was almost.
I almost ruined his story. Like, I almost got the headline out.
Yeah, don't bury the lead. So yeah, but yeah, Mel's probably in. I think they're in Mississippi right now, crossing Mississippi. So
Roland, yes, dope. That would be dope. We could get man. You know we love you in the pit, Roland.
Yeah, for sure, man. One day.
Is Juan here? Is he ready?
He is here. I was about to bring him on in. Let's bring in numero uno. I always do things out of order in this place anyway. We bring numero dos, then we bring numero uno. Of course we do. Because it's the pit and we do what the fuck we want. What's up, man?
What's up? How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. I see you're at your new location. We don't have the typical masked backdrop we normally have from numero uno.
We're officially at the new Borracho Crew headquarters.
Hell yeah. Congratulations. Hells yeah.
Thank you.
That's big. Congrats.
Thank you so much. So what do y'all want to start with? Because we have some hot to cover today.
Get right into it, bro.
It's your segment, brother. Rock on with what you think.
Let's start with AAA. Let's just go over their match card. As y'all know, this Saturday they're having their big show, Triple Mania. The 29th edition, if I'm not mistaken. They got some interesting matches going on, but I guess the main event is going to be a hair versus mask match, Psycho Clown versus Rey Scorpion. But to be honest, we're being honest,
we tried.
The main attraction of that show is going to be Omega versus Andrade. I think that's what people are really going to see because they're not expecting much from Psycho Clown versus Rey Scorpion, even though it's going to be a great match.
Yeah.
But there's no building of that story. Like, it was just like, oh, here, let's have Psycho Clown versus Rey Scorpion on a hair versus mask match.
But is it really that different other than the time that's passed? Like, because Andrade just showed up and then he's in the match and then we're having a match. Like, there isn't really a big story built for that either, other than we've been waiting for fucking 2-3 months or whatever. Right? Yeah, you know what I mean?
There's no story behind that match. And I also said that I hate the way they're doing that match.
Oh, yeah.
And I still hate it. But if we're being realistic, they're on another level.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's gonna draw. It's a draw.
And I'm not saying that Psycho Clown is bad or he's not at their level, but if we're being realistic, Omega and Andrade have been to other places that neither Psycho Clown or Rey Scorpion have been to. So it would make sense if they would have made that the main event, but whatever, AAA, Lucha. You know how it makes no sense. So the first match is going to be the Marvel Lucha Libre Edition match, which is going to be Team Linda Americana, who is Captain America.
Yep.
Versus Team Terror Púrpura, which is Thanos, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, Thanos, I think. I don't know. I've never seen any of the movies.
Thanos.
And it's going to be...
0 movies. here.
The Captain America, the Captain Marvel, and the Spider-Man versus Venom, another girl, and Thanos. That match is just gonna be, the opening of the show. Just one of those random matches that AAA throws
Just
in
like
there.
that. Just like that random comment we just got, Hamburger Boy. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Is that a shot at Marvel stuff? I don't know.
Well,
I'm still lost right now.
That Hamburger Boy, I guess that would technically be the translation because AAA has this wrestler named Niño Hamburguesa.
Oh, okay.
And he's known to be in the
I had no idea.
In the opening matches of AAA.
Oh, okay.
So you know how AAA likes to do their like mixed acting with the midget, the female, the regular wrestler. So that's pretty much all the matches he's usually in the opener.
I just got called a fool.
Oh damn!
From someone that doesn't know how to click the link to make their name show.
Who's Facebook a real fool now?
Facebook user. Go ahead. Try to heckle somebody that has the mic. Moving on. Sorry.
The next one is going to be the Copa Bardal AAA, which is just the cup they have every single year. It changes the name depending on the sponsors. And they're having Drago, Mister Iguana, Mamba, and 9 surprise wrestlers. But I know for a fact that people should make a bet on who's going to be there.
Oh, yes. I kind of knew, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Bet on that.
People should make a bet.
Yep. Bet on that. That's awesome. That's exciting. We can talk about it after it happens.
It's very exciting. So we'll be talking about it next week.
How does it do it? Like that?
Yep.
For people on the podcast, you're screwed right now because we're doing images that you can't hear.
Yeah, but if you're listening to us, sorry, we're everyone's making hand gestures right now.
Yeah, we're a live talk show.
So this next match, this is one of the matches that actually caught my attention since the way they announced it. The way they set it up, it wasn't the best, but this match has potential to be a really good one. Fabi Apache versus Diana Purrazzo.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be a great match. But the thing is that it's going to be a championship versus championship match. So I can't see either of them losing. This is one of the matches where I have no idea who the winner is going to be. Like, I mean, I guess you can say that Diana could win, but I'm a strong believer that Fabi Apache could be the winner of this match. Okay, next we have the match for the tag team championships. So we got the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Phoenix, versus one of my favorite wrestlers, Hijo del Vikingo.
Yes.
And he's with Laredo Kid. So those two are gonna make some crazy moves, some crazy combinations of everything, and that's gonna be a wild match. And the third tag team is Taurus with a surprise wrestler.
So many surprises.
AAA.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
the only answer I had to you. Then
drama.
Yep. The next match is going to be the trios match, which could have been lower in the card, maybe the second match. Third, I would have put the Fabi Apache versus Diana match higher, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So this match, it's a rivalry between La Empresa, which is made by Puma King, Sam Adonis, and Diamante Azul, now known as DMT Azul, and they're going against Pagano, Chessman, and Murder Clown.
Oh, okay. Haven't heard
That's just one. Again, it's just one of those matches. They did build it up a little bit at the last pay-per-view, and they had some things here and there before getting to Triple Mania, but I'm not expecting much from that match. Just another match that they just throw in there. The classic invasion from an outsider group. Now we have the what we were talking about. The next one's gonna be Kenny Omega versus Andrade. I have a feeling that Andrade might win.
I was gonna say, I think it needs to kind of happen.
Yeah, I mean, Omega hasn't done much with the championship. How many times he has defended? Probably like 2, 3 times at most. So, yeah, whoever wins, whatever, it's gonna be a great match regardless. But no, it makes no sense. And the last one,
Seems to be.
Psycho Clown versus Rey Escorpion. I mean, I have no comments about that match. I don't want
Moving
to.
on.
I don't want to say my thoughts because if you follow Lucha or if you follow AAA, you probably know what's gonna happen. So let's move on from that to some shocking news.
I'm gonna give you the feature for this.
All right, yeah, we need it. So there being some stuff going on at the Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. Many things have been happening in this past weeks, but this is like unexpected. So, Nueva Generación Dinamita, who are the sons of the OGs, Dinamitas, were like the top trio in Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. And earlier this week or last week, I believe, they dropped the trio championships. And the reason they did that, or the reason why they said they did that, is because they wanted to try their luck in singles competitions and in championships. Um, it didn't happen. We didn't have to wait too long. And this week, Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre announced that they were no longer going to be part of Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. This is shocking because those guys were doing so great. They were the top at the top of the mountain. They were like the best thing. One of the Some of the best wrestlers Consejo Mundial had. And to go from dropping the titles to then just the next week just saying that they came to terms with the company and they're leaving is just kind of like shocking. And not only that, but there were other wrestlers that got kind of involved in that situation, and they say that they were wishing the guys well in their future, in their careers. And one of those guys was Soberano Junior. But also that guy, he pretty much had like a rant about going off on Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. He let me read it to you. Many people think that the problem is the Lutero family. Believe me that I am not going through a difficult situation with Mr. Salvador Lutero. He's the one who supported me at all times. He has not let me fall to all the fans believe that the real problem in cancer are other people. Where what he meant by other people and the cancer, he was referring to Ultimo Guerrero. Ultimo Guerrero is in charge of the bookings, and he's pretty much in charge of all the booking aspect of Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre. And since he took over, many of the guys have been just either at the lower matches, first matches, or they just not booked at all. Or in the case of Hechicero, he has been doing more commentary than actual wrestling, and Hechicero is one of the really good guys that Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre has. I was looking for the tweet and I couldn't find it, but I saw it earlier this week. I was looking for it again to show you all the screenshot, but I couldn't find it anymore. And then I don't know if he retracted his words or what happened, but there was another post made by another Facebook page where he said that those accusations or whatever those posts said were not true, that he didn't say that. And it involved also Lucha Libre Online, which is the page ran by Hugo Sabinovich, the ex WWE commentary guy.
Mm-hmm.
He has a large following, and supposedly Soberano said that he contacted the page and they knew nothing about that posting. So now we're like, we don't know who to believe, because there were screenshots of him saying that Ultimo Guerrero was the cause of everything wrong with Consejo Mundial right now. But then he said that he didn't say those things, and so we really don't know what's going on. And it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up leaving Consejo Mundial at one point, because he did mention that he had an offer from AAA. So, and over there in Mexico, they don't really have those 90 days no compete clause or whatever. So if
So you never know what's gonna happen, huh?
Yeah, so if he was to leave right now, he probably could show up at Triple Mania.
We'll have to tune in to find out.
Yeah, there were some rumors that Nueva Generación Dinamita are gonna show up at Triple Mania, but again, those are just rumors, nothing confirmed. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Sounds good, man. Well, lots of good information, man. Appreciate it. You brought us up to speed. We've been lacking our lucha segment for a while, so I think you got us all caught up for now. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Thank
you. Moving right along. We're
right
a little
along.
bit over our segment right now, so we're gonna kind of just fire away.
Rock on.
We have some big stuff coming up. You want to talk about PPW first? Okay, I'll go first.
Nope. Just keep it moving.
So we have Deathmatch Weekend this weekend in San Antonio. It is ICW weekend. Just a few. We've talked a lot about these matches, but there were a couple matches I still wanted to highlight and talk about for those of you that are still just on the fence about whether or not you want to check out this show.
Go.
Scott Summers versus Slack. This is a huge match for ICW. It's a huge match for us as fans, honestly. For those of y'all that don't remember, we were due for Scott Summers to have a huge involvement in the Texas Deathmatch tournament a while back. Scott Summers has just had a string of bad luck the last few years with his personal health, and it's really kept him out of the scene. For those of y'all that watched our interview with Danny a while back, you know what some of the plans were from Scott for a long time ago, and that's pretty impressive that those were the plans themselves. So this is one thing I'm really looking forward to. This is what everybody's match of the weekend is. It's a number one contender match. It's a three-way dance. The last time we had a three-way dance in ICW, Warren Veidt and Eric Ryan were both in it. The third contender was actually Alex Ocean. Three-way dances to me in deathmatch are amazing. It's a third element you don't normally get. It's a very big surprise. It's kind of like a Hell in a Cell match or an 8-sided ring, that type of thing. Like, it's something that every once in a while it shows up, and it's going to be a good match. Me personally, I'm thinking Dale Patrick comes out with the W on this one to become the number one contender for Murdoch's championship in ICW. But really big match for the second night, which is Saturday. And
did I do the things in that order? Did I mess up the order?
No, I did. And that's fine because I really want to also highlight Friday. So tomorrow's Friday the 13th. We have some really, really big opportunities for some of the local guys here.
Hell yeah, we do.
IWTV again. For those of y'all that paid attention to Power Blood a while back, Great Scott and Aaron Mercer were both on Power Blood. Both had killer matches. I really like this matchup right here, and I got to keep talking about this one continually because Great Scott versus Dale Patrick has a ton of potential. Dale Patrick is one of those guys that has a very similar style to Great Scott, and works really similar. Like, they have a very just a great moveset. Each one has a great moveset, skill set. I just think it's going to be a great match. I'm a little bit rushed here, so sorry if I'm tripping all over myself, but I want to make sure to call out that the Great Scott facing Dale Patrick has potential to steal the match, steal the card that evening. But my personal favorite match of tomorrow night, the Pit, Friday the 13th, is Aaron Mercer versus John Wayne Murdoch.
Loading.
That's okay. We all know that Aaron Mercer has been running through deathmatch matches this year. He's already had 2 pretty close. We had Aaron Mercer versus Ruben, Aaron Mercer versus Atticus. We also know that Aaron Mercer is taking on, is showing up to Austin September 18th with Heavy Metal. Aaron Mercer versus John Wayne Murdoch has all the potential in the world right here to me. And I think that these are 2 guys that are both brawlers. I think they're both fighters, and I think they are both really good at talking their shit and backing it up. And so I'm super pumped for this match. I think it's got a ton of potential. If you're sitting on the fence, guys, come out and hang out with us. There are 3 shows this weekend in San Antonio, 2 at 502 Bar tomorrow night, where we have the Pit first, which we've been informed that there is a special new edition of the Pit that might be making a debut. The Pit, remember, the Pit's still kind of trying to, still finding its identity. Normally it's Pit Fighter, but every once in a while the Pit makes a pop-up in places, and the Pit's a little bit different. It's not a cage. It's always something a little bit different. So they've said that this current idea for the Pit, which I know what it is, I'm super excited about. I can't tell you enough. It's one of the coolest things that I've seen in a while. I think it really is going to just pop. I'm going to pop. It's going to be great. But we also have No Peace Underground right then at 11:30. Keep in mind the 502 Bar has a really good drink special. ICW is a great show. Guys, come out, hang out with us. The Baracha crew's there, all your friends there. Just be safe. Please, if you're sick, stay home. If you're coming out, make sure you're washing your hands, sanitize your hands, keep yourself safe, and let's have some fun this weekend. And that's Deathmatch Wrestling.
Very cool. So that leads into this other show that's happening that I can't make it all the way to San Antonio this weekend. Us down here in South Texas, there's a great show tomorrow for GCWA, and that's the After Hours. If y'all been to any of their After Hours shows, you know how freaking legit the After Hours shows are. It gets rowdy. It's BYOB, and it's not like their normal GCWA shows where it's proper and not vulgar language and things like that.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck on After Hours, and they are very vocal about it. There's more hardcore matches, a little bit more action in the crowd and around the whole building. They broke a door and a bathroom last show, like for real. So there was having to be like a door off the hinges. Yeah. It was, we had like repairs for 2 or 3 days after that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Right. So we got Príncipe Celestial versus Adrian Cruz, which is former half of the GCW Tag Champs, against the current Wrestle Vlogs champion, Príncipe Celestial, both PPW alums, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We have the leader of the Cult of Crowley.
Also both Pit alums.
Very good point. Alexander Crowley versus Josh Galvan, who's just on the rise. Third
both
generation.
Former Pit guests.
Yep, and PPW alums.
Oh, that's true.
Well, we have someone that you know a little bit more about, but he's also a PPW alum. Actually, these both are too. Is Chris Carter versus Prince Adam, which I think is going to be the match of the fucking night.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty badass matches. And I'm probably already going to get texts from other people that are on this card for me saying that. But it's just my opinion. It's a talk show, and that's what we do. But yeah, Chris Carter, who answered the Mas Chingon challenge at the Texas Independent Showcase, or the Indie Showcase for us. And he's going up against Prince Adam, who tagged with Jay Sirius in our first full show in Kingsville. So yeah, it's New Year Mayhem, I think it was. I already forgot the name of my shows. I've been hit in the head a lot. I think I mentioned that. Then we have someone that is not a Pit alum and not a PPW alum. Corvus, I think it's, what is it? The Hidden Gem. Corvus.
I love Corvus, man.
Versus the Savage Prince, Richie Garcia, who has been on the show actually twice and been on every PPW show. And, we have our opinions about that. Oh, and that's someone thinks that's going to be the show stealer.
I agree.
My money's still on Carter and Prince Adam, Chris Carter and Prince Adam, but that's going to be a hell of a show. And we haven't even got to what I think is going to be the main event. Pretty sure it's going to be the main event. Max Castellanos, who has left his imprint on every After Hours show that they've had, I think, so far, causing all kinds of chaos, versus T-Ray, who is a PPW alum and a Prit alum. So we're all over this show. This show is going to be T-Ray. Awesome. T-Ray is amazing. He's just out there kicking ass every freaking company in the whole damn state. Like Thierry's in it and kicking ass.
That's a good point, though. We've interviewed almost that entire part.
There's 2 people that haven't been in this show, and we'll work on that. Max Castellanos and Corvus, we're looking at you. Oh, actually, and Prince Adam too. He hasn't been on the show. He's been on PPW though, so he's a PPW alum. But we haven't had Prince Adam on here yet. We can work on that as well. But yeah, man, after hours, GCWA Corpus Christi. It's at the bingo hall, not at the Valencia where they normally have their shows, which they'll have a show there in September, which we can talk about that in a few weeks. But talking about shows in September, now we can get to the bias part of the show. PPW show. Yeah, it's my show. PPW will be on September 25th. We announced it last week, Coronation, and everybody had
Principe was in the pit, Matthew.
Yes. Come on, Matthew. Man, you're supposed to be one of our number 1 guys.
75 you're always in the comments. How do you not remember Principe's episode?
Anywho, now I forgot what it was. So everybody saw the poster I had dropped, and they saw somebody missing and was wondering why that somebody was missing, which was the PPW champion, Chandler Hopkins, was not on the poster. The champ is now spoken, and he sent in a video. And this will be actually have 75 episodes that we've done this show. This will be the first time we've actually done a video that might work. So let's cross our fingers. And
we typically haven't had great success with videos, but we think we've got it now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But here's the PPW champion, Chandler Hopkins, the young gun.
Puro Pinche Wrestling. I'm supposed to be wrestling Maddie Renkowski, who claims to be Miss Reality of Wrestling, our women's champion. And this was brought on because she thinks she runs the company, because she was the first champion of PPW. And now that I'm there, everyone wants to see me and not her. So we had this match, a one-on-one versus each other, where she tried to sucker me in with a super kick after my match with Barrett Brown. She failed at that, though, too, because she's just not there. She's not there yet. She's good. She's getting there, but she's not there. She doesn't belong in the ring with me just yet, and I've seen that. I've noticed it. So, September 25th, Coronation, Kingsville for Puro Pinche Wrestling. I will be in a cabin for my brother's birthday. Won't be there. But, don't think I forgot about you, Maddie, because I've talked with management, and I have someone lined up for you. You get past her, and we'll talk. Have fun.
Wow. Chandler still doesn't realize that I was the first ever PPW champion. That's crazy to me. Because he said it to Maddie, but it was me.
He's talking about he said a champion at like period. Not his championship.
Oh, okay. That's right. That's right. I was the first ever PPW champion.
Yeah, y'all can fight that out when the next show he shows up at. We can have the rematch there.
Man, I bet his shoe star press is way better than mine. But that is big news. That's big news. So now we know that Maddie has to wait. Maddie has to wait. She had an opportunity to take on Chandler, but Chandler is going to be wrapped up. So Maddie's going to have to wait. Ryan thinks that Maddie would give it to Chandler. One thing I learned a while back was not to bet against Maddie, but it's definitely a tough one. I'm split real down the middle here, like really bad.
And I think I just need to get my damn champions in control because they seem to be trying to run this whole fucking company.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're doing a great job. I think they've forgotten that they're supposed to be fighting other people for their championships, and they're trying to fight each other. But you know what? Let's let them work it out. We'll let them work it out, figure it out.
They want to have clear supremacy for PPW. They want to make it clear cut. Who's the champ. When a new promotion, like somebody just wants to put their foot down. I kind of get it.
Well, you got to think about it too from the perspective of everybody's champion. All the champions are looking up, and that's pretty cool. Like everybody's looking at the top of the mountain. Most of the time, the champs like are here. I'm going to beat all the other women. I'm going to prove I'm the best woman in PPW. But Maddie said, no. I'm going to prove I'm the best in PPW in general. And you got to give it to her for that.
Super. Agree. So also on the show, there's going to be the tag team tournament that we're going to have to add more champions to the mix. So so that'll be the last championship crowned. Well, we got somebody mysteriously in there. Maddie is the best and longest reigning PPW champ. Patrick Verona chiming in, which happens to have Maddie in the profile picture, though. Very interesting. Anywho, so we'll be crowning the tag team champions that night as well, which leads us to our guest, who has been patiently waiting in the lobby for the last 15 minutes. But we're not over that much, so I don't feel quite as bad. But I appreciate the punctuality. We will be having a tag tournament. There'll be 6 teams in it. We'll announce those teams, but one of the teams is the Soldiers of Savagery, 2/3 of the Shane Taylor Promotions, which are the 6-man champs for Ring of Honor right now. And let's into our guest, Kaun. Welcome to the pit, man.
Appreciate it.
I was like, I built up that intro, and then I kind of like faded out, and I was like, damn, I botched it, man. Sorry.
I know.
That might have been your work.
And it's this, and it's this. And we're just going to go right over to Kaun.
And then I just botched it. So that's probably your worst introduction ever. Sorry. Welcome to the pit. How's it going, man?
I'm going pretty well.
Great.
Yeah, staying busy down in Texas.
Yeah, welcome to Texas too, by the way. You're a permanent resident of Texas now, aren't you?
Yeah, I moved down here, San Antonio in April, so I'm just getting used to the culture down here.
A little different, huh? A little different.
From where I was coming from, Baltimore, Maryland, yeah, very different. People are actually nice down here. People are happy about biscuit, so I like it though. It's hot, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kaun is the first ROH superstar we've had on the show, right?
Correct. That is correct.
And I've got a ton of questions. We've all got a ton of questions because you're really on a tear right now. Like I want to jump straight into it. Like Shane Taylor Promotions is not fucking around right now. Like
no, not at all.
You're 1/3 of the 6-man tag team champions. Like, what's this ride like that you're on right now? Yeah,
there it is.
Man, it's a hell of a ride. I think we're 175 plus days, something like that. We've been undefeated since we won the belts. Now, like, we don't have a ton of 6-man teams in Ring of Honor, so now we're just taking it to the independents, and we're challenging anybody that wants to challenge us. We're bringing it to them. We'll fly us out to anywhere. We'll take them anybody. So we're defending these belts. We're fighting champs.
Yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about that. And Shane doesn't play. And neither does Kaun or Moses. We can't leave him out. We're talking about it. There's 3 in this. There's 3 in the team. 5 in the promotion, but 3 in the 6-man team. So yeah, so looking forward to having Kaun and Moses both next month at PPW as well, fighting to add some other gold to that collection.
That's the plan. We're trying to collect all these belts out here, so I'm excited for it.
Man, that's the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So what we like to do, we kind of like to get to know the person, the history and everything back here. Let everybody know a little bit more about the person behind the character. We won't say your street name, but we know your name's not Kaun. But we always go back to do you remember the moment when you're like, you know what? I'm going to be a wrestler. Like, this is what I'm going to do for a living, where I'm going to travel the country and, fight in rings and different size arenas for a living. Like, do you remember when how did that happen?
Definitely when I was a child. I remember watching the Hardy Boys. Jeff Hardy was my favorite back when I was 11 years old. And from that day, it's kind of been the plan. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a wrestler one day. And my mom is very punctual. She's like, no, you're going to go to school, and then we'll see what you want to do with your life after you finish college. So I actually did college. I did grad school. And it wasn't until the WWE 24 episode with Seth Rollins, and he was coming back from his injury that day, I got goosebumps. And I'm like, I'm doing this. The next day, I looked up wrestling schools. And just by happenstance, I ended up moving to Maryland 4 months later. Signed up, started training out there, and I just made it happen. I knew from that day, I was 25 at the time, I'm going to regret something in my life if I don't try to do this. So I'm going to have to do this. And then it just happened. I made it happen.
Wow.
So the seed was planted, and it took 14 years to grow. but now here we are.
Yep.
Do you feel a tremendous amount of pressure because like there's been this long running stigma that in the wrestling business you have to pay your dues and you have to take the long route, essentially. Do you feel an added pressure with your like, oh, I'm in it 3 years and now I'm ROH 6-man tag team champions? Like I don't know when this rocket stops, but I'm trying to ride as long as I can. Like, what's that like for you?
I don't think I feel pressure, but I do try to remind myself that this is a long game. Like people have been in this business 13, 14 years that are just getting the breaks now. And I'm 4.5 years in and I'm fortunate enough to have been signed, fortunate enough to win the 6-man championship belts. But I know this is a long, long game. They said that as long as you show up to training every single day, keep working at it, like don't give up on your dream. Everyone gets a shot eventually. Like you just cannot give up this grind because so many people get burnt out within the first year, 2 years. Like again, people have been doing this for 14 years that are just now getting signed to these companies. I'm like, well, shit. Like I've only been doing it 4 years and barely scratched the surface of what I want to accomplish. So if anything, it's my own internal pressure, but like I get it. I get that this is a grind and I'm ready for the long haul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So being signed to a pretty major company, is that like a moment where you're like, I made it? Or is there still something out there that's like, I'm still looking for this moment to make it be like, yeah, now I made it? Like, has that happened or do you still see that happening in the future?
I feel like when I got signed, it was the point where like, I made it. So I could probably like shove this in people's face back home. Like, yeah, I'm fucking doing this. I'm getting paid to wrestle now because they just think that wrestling is a pipe dream. But like, again, I barely scratched the surface. Like we've only been at ROH for 2 years. We won these belts, but tag team championship belts, single championship belts. Like I'm trying to go all over the world. I haven't even left the US yet. I've only wrestled in like 5 states. There's so much more I want to accomplish. Like I feel like I've kind of made it, but just barely.
When you say there's so much more you want to accomplish, like, I mean, it's probably for you it feels like a reverse bucket list. It almost seems like there's a ton of stuff you can do. What's at the top of that list for you? Like obviously aside from like the top of the mountain, but like is it like a cage match in your like what's your dream situation you haven't seen play out yet?
Oh shit!
Like a death match in Japan?
Oh,
probably not death match. I do want to wrestle in Japan. I think I remember talking to the Briscoes backstage one time. I was like, man, a ladder match. Like, because Jeff Hardy's the one that got me into this business. I was fortunate to meet him too when I first started training. I'm like, that's what I would do. I remember watching his Terry Invitational match and just like some of the crazy bumps they were taking. Like, I used to do backyard wrestling when I was 12. I want to do that on live television or somewhere. Just go for it.
That's that's to me is one of the greatest matches that ever took place. Just for the lasting effect that it had. Like I remember seeing it the next day. I didn't watch the pay-per-view. I had to watch like the clips where they would do like the pictures next day, and you hear so many people reference like the Hardy Boys and the Edge and Christian feud, and a lot of times they start it like at WrestleManias. Like they talk about WrestleManias. I'm like, man, you got to mention that ladder match. That No Mercy ladder match changed the game forever. Like wrestling was never the same.
Yep. Because they didn't even have they had a ladder match before that in a tables match where they brought ladders out, but that wasn't the first TLC match was at SummerSlam. So like there was so much more before that. But yeah, it's funny because I was also trained where not to learn how to take crazy bumps and just be smart with our bodies, but at the same time like I kind of just want to go up a ladder and see what it feels like. I'll worry about it tomorrow.
And
jump off a balcony through 6 tables.
And what a terrible like inspiration of Jeff Hardy because like they all say like, oh, you can't do it forever, and Jeff Hardy's like 50 years old, like, oh yeah,
exactly. I actually met this physical therapist that like worked on him. I was like, what did he say? Like, how's his back feeling? That's what I want to know. How does he feel? And he's like, it wasn't until he said he broke his leg where it's kind of been bothering him now. But he's been doing swantons for 20 years and he's still going. So.
I remember they had that spot with him a while back where like the wrestling world like tried to sit him down when he was on top of that TNA cage and he fell off and landed back first on the steel steps. They said Matt pulled him back and was like, no more, man. Like we're not young. But that's Jeff. Like Jeff is one of those dudes like he'll fall off a 3-story building. He don't care. Like
exactly.
It's a good person to look up to. Ladder match is good stuff. I like hearing that.
Yeah, man. Just like even learning about him on a personal level, like he's this introvert. I'm pretty introverted. It's like he's into the arts. He likes to build like this, things in his yard and like doing painting. That's kind of how I was when I was growing up. I was super into the arts. I'm like, this guy is just. That's what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to live
and the
your
music
life
as well,
express yourself to that degree. You know what I mean? Like the yard paintings and like the crazy stuff, the motocross, like anything that guy wants to do, he can go do it. Like that's legit. Jeff Hardy he's tops, man.
Yep. Oh, excuse me.
No worries.
I have a question. I want to ask you a little bit something off subject, just because it's a little bit near and dear to me. What's O'Shea Edwards like in the game?
Oh, man. That is hilarious. We just spent like a 5-hour drive in the truck with him going from Baltimore to Brooklyn for Battle Club Pro last week, and he's hilarious. I actually got to just sit down and talk to him for I've known him. We were in Shane Taylor promotion together. We haven't really sat down got a one-on-one conversation just about our lives and the experiences that dude has had. I had no idea. He's been all over the world just before he even got into wrestling, and then what brought him here. I feel like I can just learn a lot from him just as a friend. Like, he's had so many experiences, the things that he wants to accomplish in his life. He's fantastic.
Yeah. We were at the Collective last year, and he was outside his merch table. And we knew who he was because we'd seen him the night before, but that was literally my introduction to O'Shea Edwards. And Juan and I were just standing there kind of like watching him interact, and some girl yells, "Oh, there's AJ Gray." And O'Shea, like, in the middle of everything, heard it. He goes, "No." Like, just loud right now. "I'm not AJ Gray." And so we went over, we talked to the dude, and we were like, it was pretty funny. He's a really cool guy.
Hell yeah. He's hella motivated too. He has a lot of ambitions, and he's doing it. Like, I watch him. Just like, he calls out things that he wants to do. He has like his checklist of things that he wants to accomplish. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, "Yep, already did that. This is on the way." It's just super inspiring to see and have that like a part of the foundation that they're with. That's only going to help them grow and get better.
Motivation, right?
Yeah,
I think the entirety of the Shane Taylor promotions is honestly full of hardworking dudes. Like, just watching everybody's grind and that image, like, that to me is the breakout faction going forward. I think that Shane Taylor Promotions does big shit in right now already. But by this time next year, like, Shane Taylor Promotions could be on top of the wrestling world.
Oh, that's the fucking plan.
Well, it's happening. It's already happening because Shane, even before the promotions was created, he was on a tear and a rise up on his own, and then he's just bringing everybody up with him, and then y'all are help lifting him up as well. Like, it's just an amazing story to follow and watch, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
I bet.
So talk to us about Soldiers of Savagery, like how you guys got into the beginning and became a team.
So I believe Moses was at MCW back in Maryland Championship Wrestling a year before I got there. So he was training. I started training there eventually of January 2017. I said the second practice, he tore his meniscus, and he was out for a few months. But I remember when I was training, they also have their own promotion out that way. So I was looking at the landscape, I'm like, there's not a lot of tag teams here. And there's not a lot of tag teams that look like us. Right. So the moment he came back, I was like, hey, I think we should team together. I think that if we team together, they'll immediately put us on the show. And that was just my plan from the beginning. Once we started teaming together and started gelling, it was just to the races after that. We just started destroying teams. Won the MCW Tag Team Championships, went undefeated. From there, we met Joey Mercury, who got us to ROH. We got signed. We've been putting on this grind for the past few years. And the beginning, learning how to tag team wrestle was such a different element. We had no idea. We had practices where our coach, RJ Meyer, the Bruiser, was like, you guys get 2 moves. You're tagging it out. You literally get 2 moves, and you're going to beat people up all practice for 3 hours. You're just learning to be all right, I don't have to do this much. Cool, tag. You just tag, double team moves, tag. And just getting on the same page. But eventually, after probably a year and a half, we just started fucking grinding and getting it, and just went on the tear. So it's been a hell of fun. Yeah,
I've always been intrigued on how that works because all the schools you see it's all singles trains for singles, trains for you, trains, and to have a team created it, it's just a whole different dynamic. Which, like you said, they kind of simplified it there, though, I guess, and made it. But I think it's actually more though, because I think it's harder to be that whenever you're just out if you're just out there sitting there waiting to be tagged, you know what I mean? You're killing half, you know what I mean? There's a lot more pressure, I think, when you're not in the action.
Exactly. They were telling us it was harder, and I'm like, this is easy to me. We get to catch half my breath when I get to tag him. I don't have to do as much. Yeah. But just getting on the same page of philosophy and telling stories in the ring, that was probably the challenge. And our coach was like, hey, y'all had to talk every single day, because we would only talk at practice. He's like, no, you need to be friends. You need to drive together. You need to move together. You have to do everything together. You have to breathe together. So then from that point, you'd always see us everywhere together. You had to show up at the venue, wearing the same kind of clothes. It didn't matter. We had to always be together.
Yeah, because you're telling one story, and that's what I don't think people understand is like you have to tell one story together where it makes sense and you flow together. And it's just I think I've always been a tag team fan. Like that's my favorite type of wrestling matches, I guess, since I've been watching for 40 years. And like if you ask me my favorite things is Road Warriors, Steiner Brothers. Like I go back to that stuff, you know, the Von Erichs, like any 6-man tag, Freebirds. Like that's just my favorite stuff. And the beauty of those things was it's just like the stories they could tell together. I think it kind of helps because you have more people, I guess, but it kind of makes it more challenging, I would think.
Definitely. Like I heard if you can master tag team wrestling, then you can handle this as your singles.
That's what I've heard as well.
And I mean, and you've seen it happen is like these tag teams, they start as tags and then they split and then they have success as singles. You know, Scott Steiner did that, Sting did that technically because people don't remember. I mean, he was a tag team with Ultimate Warrior, which they were, you know, Blade and Rock, I think they were the Blade Runners or whatever. But, you know, and they had no clue about wrestling, but they went to tag and then it got easier when they were by themselves, they thought. So
I feel like the key to getting your tag team broken up is to have one guy be the mouthpiece and one guy not. Like when you look back through those histories of those tag teams that split up and they tried that singles route, it's always because one guy can't talk.
Yep. Exactly.
The Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Do you ever, so if you're on the apron and you're kind of like working the crowd, you're working your rest position, do you ever get kind of like caught up and then be like, oh crap, I got to keep my part in the story here?
There's been times in these 6-mans where Shane will knock somebody out. And just the way that the crowd responds, I just black out and I just talk shit to the crowd the entire time.
Yes.
Because it's like those pure moments where it's so much fun. You're just like, oh, I don't even care what's happening in the ring right now. Like, I'm just interacting with these people over here.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fans love that stuff. Like you go to a show and then it's like, man, he turned around and talked to me. Like they're gonna be talking about that tomorrow at work or at school. You know what I mean? Those are the moments, besides the big spots and everything that everybody gets to see. But those are the kind of stuff that people take home with them.
Yep,
like
exactly. That's what we're coach. Like it's the energy. It's making the eye contact with the kids in the crowd. Like you remember those little, like you can do 15 moves and people are not going to remember that. But if they can remember the connection, how you made them feel, that's the most important. That's what I remember as a fan. Like that's what I want people to take home with us.
I always felt like the biggest way to gain me as a fan is to be somebody working for my attention. Like there are a lot of wrestlers that I mean I would put on a top pedestal, and then when you walk through the curtain, I'm gonna boo you like nobody's business. Because like that's the level. I'm gonna give you what you want. Like if you want heat or if you want cheers, like I'm gonna give that to you because you're working for it. Like a lot of my favorite guys in the games are just guys that took time to interact with fans outside of the ring, inside the ring, at the merge table. Like it really does mean a lot. And that rest position in a tag can make a match, man. Like those guys are a serious. You got to watch out for them. Are they going to cheat? Are they going to rob the crowd? What are they going to do? It's a great spot.
Exactly, and like we also taught like it's a hold, but you're working the hold. You're working the crowd. People will, like the best people that I remember watching, like they'll sit there until you start interacting with them. You sit like people do that as a rest spot. No, I'm interacting with the people. I'm making y'all genuinely care about what's happening in the ring.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the challenge, like I said, and it's a challenge that's underestimated.
Exactly.
So we talk about he said about having a mouthpiece in a team, and from the promos that I've seen, your boy Moses is pretty damn good at promos. How does that interaction go? Like when he does a freaking fire promo, like does that make you work harder? I mean, you do pretty good yourself, but I mean, Moses
I know he has the gift of gab. Like it comes so natural for him. And I know for sure when we first started cutting promos, like I didn't really want to say much. And it's not that I have nothing to say. I'm just naturally a more quiet, introverted person.
Right.
I think as experience like grows within the wrestling, now I've been able to kind of hold my own. But I know he'll cut like fire promos. I'm like, hey, you can say whatever the hell you want to say. I don't care, because I know when we get in the ring and the intensity, like people are gonna remember what the hell I did too.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
do you feel like you try to elevate your personal presence? You know, because like I don't want to speak. I want to be a silent but deadly kind of person.
Somewhat, but also like I feel like I don't need to say a lot to get my point across.
Right.
Like, people that talk a lot, and I'm like, I don't really remember what they said, but if they said something very dynamic or personal or like grab my attention, that's what I'm gonna remember. Yeah. But he definitely makes me want to raise my level, because I hear like he'll be like practicing this promo. I'm like, oh, this is what he's gonna say. Okay, cool. I have to put some stuff into this today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I see him and they get me hyped up, but it's not him trying to promo, it's for y'all. And he's usually halftime he starts it off and then he hypes you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Kaun. And you get, you know what I mean? And you're just like, let's go. You know, so
I'm feeding off his energy.
Yeah, and then you just take it and take the ball and run.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite moment in the last 4 years that you've been doing this?
Oh shit. That's one would be we wrestled in Manhattan at the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was like a little squash match, but I remember walking out there and the crowd was actually full, and I was just like, "Yo, I was on the apron like, yo, look around real quick." It's wild. Like I remember watching these DVDs like a couple of years ago. I'm like, "Oh, I remember this venue."
Yeah.
Like now we're actually here standing on the apron, and this is like we were technically like on the pay-per-view that day, and I was like, "Holy shit, we have like arrived." But then I also had that feeling when we won 6-man championship belts against Mexico Squad. I'm like, oh no, now this is when we've arrived. Like, because like SOS has been around ROH, but we've been like in multi-tag matches. Right. And then once we got with Shane Taylor, it's like we're just punching people in the mouth and like, oh no, you're gonna remember us, you're gonna respect us. We're here now. So the definitely
do you feel like who you won the belts from made it more special? Like that was a squad to beat. Like I always felt like if I was in wrestling, the one thing I would want more than to be a champion would to beat somebody worthy of making me a great champion through my success.
Hell yeah, like Bandito's the world champ now too. So we beat on him. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, talk to me about stepping in that, because in the time you're coming up in the game, that 4 years, Bandito was leading the charge, like still is in a lot of ways. So when you step in that ring, you're like, all right, here we go. Like, do you feel extra pressure that the guy across the ring is an international superstar?
I think I feel pressure every single time. I think I felt a little bit more comfortable because our first match back during the COVID era was the Briscoes and EC3. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. That's like, great. That's legit. Yeah.
Coming here and the Briscoes, and this is the first time we're actually going to wrestle with them. That week, like, cause we had to stay in the hotel for like quarantine period. That week, that was pressure. But then once we showed them, people were like, oh no, you look like you belong here. And then the next match we faced the Briscoes. Then we faced the Foundation with Jay Lethal and Gresham. Yeah, Williams, Rhett Titus is like, oh no, we belong here. Yeah. So once we got to them,
those are world champions. Those are world champions, you're saying, by the way. Like all those names are world champions, individual world champions and team world champions.
Once you got the Mexico Squad, it was pressure. It was a different style too. Like I've never wrestled luchadors before, but I felt comfortable enough. Like, no, we belong here. Like we have our footing in the ring. We can handle this. We can step up to the plate. And same thing when we came back to the current, people were like, y'all belong. Like, thank y'all are proving what you're worth. Like we didn't know what to expect 2 years ago when y'all guys signed here because we were in the developmental program. But like, no, you guys belong here now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And ROH was, when it went into COVID, ROH was such a tough place to be because ROH was one of the first places to go dark because they are almost all fan shows. There's not a ton of TV taping, so it had to have been a challenge for you, like working through that, like no fans all of a sudden, like ROH is working no fans. Like what's it like when the empty arena shows?
So I told someone else I was kind of used to that at that point. And it was like with how it worked out because the year prior we were in the ROH dojo where you're training 4 days a week, but you're training in front of your peers who've seen wrestling as much as you have. So it's hard to get a pop from the boys when you're in that building every single day, just like putting on matches that we've all seen shit before.
Yeah.
Then like we were kind of doing shows a little bit for a few months, and then COVID hit. We were off for like 5 or 6 months, and then came back to shows. I'm like, this isn't really nothing new for me. Like personally, for me, it was nothing new because I was already doing practice matches with people. One thing, of course, you have to be louder and you get used to it. But if anything, I would like that element more. Like I don't mind wrestling with fans. Like I enjoy that energy. But there, you had to focus on the in-ring work. You had to focus on the technicality, the physicality. You had to make people believe through the TV screen that they like, oh no, they're beating the shit out of each other. They're putting on a performance. And you had to really like draw those people in. So I think like I liked it, but that kind of felt a little bit harder.
I was gonna say, so that must have made the storytelling harder. Whenever you're not really sure if what you're doing is working, as if you have that immediate reaction in the crowd, you don't have that.
Yep.
So you're like, hope.
Yeah, there's no rest holds here. You're working through this match. Like it's a physical competition. Like you have to put on that performance.
Nowhere to hide.
And you don't get any gratification at the end of it. Like you do all this work. It's kind of like an interview almost. Yeah. Like you do all this shit and it's like, all right, it's over. And you don't hear about it until it eventually airs, and then you get to see those reactions. So
exactly.
What is that different? Like how was that like knowing like, okay, I'm sending this match out into the ether. I hope people like it as much as I liked it.
That's always honestly scary to me. Because like you said, the match would end and you're walking to the back and it's just like silence. Like we thought that one was great. Like that was fun. I had a hell of a time. And then it'll be like 3 weeks until it's out on TV. Like, fuck, I hope people like it because they're still getting to know us.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I don't know who the challenge was harder for the newer, younger talent or the like old veterans for that's such a drastic change of crowd, no crowd.
I think it's been great for everyone that came to the ROH dojo. Like this is the time where we've been able to capitalize and be like involved in storylines, and we've been getting a ton of matches during this whole COVID time. And like people have had the time. We've been doing these like amazing promos every time we have like tapings. So people have been having a chance to like digest what we're doing and introduce to like what we are.
It's got to be exciting.
ROH to me has always been a place that kind of you can have a momentum and they will grab you and push that momentum further. Like you think about guys that pass through ROH, you talk about AEW, it exists because of a company like ROH. When you're there and you're working and it almost feels like you're in the Hall of Fame or like, whatever, like how do you feel like, what do you want to make this experience? Like, what do you want to get out of your ROH experience is really what I'm asking.
That's a good question. When I think about what ROH, at least what it's known for, like what it was back with Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, like even when Jay White came through there, Punch Martinez, in the Young Bucks, Cody, like the buzz that I had a few years ago, like we are rebuilding that buzz. And like, as long as I'm here, I'm trying to get back to that mountaintop again, where people are like, oh no, this is the place to watch. This is no like super indie. No, we're a promotion. We have television, we have pay-per-views, and like stars are being built right here. And like y'all need to tune in and give us that respect.
And people forget that about ROH. Like that's kind of been their whole thing. Like ROH will go through these chapters and they will make stars, and those guys will go off and it quiets for a minute and then they ramp back up with the next set. And I just think that people forget that. It almost feels like ROH is just chapters. Like we've had the Elite chapter, we've had the CM Punk, Daniel Bryan chapter, we've had all that stuff. Yeah. This is your chapter now. This is ROH's current chapter, and Shane Taylor Promotions is part of it.
Oh, hell yeah. The way that come back to live crowds, this is the Shane Taylor Promotion chapter. Like we're going to make this big like it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I love it. That's the thing about ROH. Like people will say dark periods or lulls. Like I call it what you will. I think that ROH has to start over every once in a while because in a business like that, they've always been so good at making stars, and that's kind of the problem. You're almost doing your job too well, but they're really good at starting over, man. And like I said, like this is the current chapter, and it's yours for the taking, really.
Exactly. Yeah, we have stars. Like we have Ruth, we have EC3, we have Flip Gordon. We have the Briscoes, Jay Lethal. Gresham is putting on matches of the year. Like we have stars. People are just downplaying what this company's providing.
And everybody's so into like stories. Like to me, like not that I don't like the story, but there are a lot of fans that have lost the love of the physical side of wrestling. I think that's why it really does come like the fireworks, the big storylines, like who's my wife, like all that crazy crap. Me, I always loved promotions like ROH because like the indies, everything like that. I want to see the talent. I want to see all of it, though. I want to hear what you have to say, but I also want to see you guys super kick the shit out of each other for 30 minutes, you know?
Yeah, get punched in the mouth and punch people in the mouth, you know? That's
absolutely.
That's our MO.
It's like all the other companies end up there with they do all their other story crap and all the other stuff, and they end up where Ring of Honor is always at, is how I always look at it. Like Ring of Honor is always in, like, no, we're in the ring settling it. Like we're in the ring fighting. Like this
we're providing the best wrestling. We have the best wrestling in the world. Like that's what we're doing every single show.
I mean, the names you just said that are there still are just so unappreciated and underrated. I mean, holy shit.
If you were to talk about the top 10 matches of all time, ROH probably has 3 of them. I mean, and that says a lot. I mean, they've taken guys like Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher. Like that's a match that should not be good. Like Necro Butcher was one step away from a homeless guy. And I mean, they beat the crap out of each other. And it's one of the most talked about matches of all time. And it's random, but it's ROH at its finest. Like it is savagery. It's brutal. It's wrestling.
I see what you did there. He said savagery.
That's what as soon as it came out. Savagery. I was like, oh, got it.
Even before this Pure Division came, I remember I was watching some of the older Pure Division stuff, and like they're putting on 30-minute classics. Like people forget that the big stars of today came from this place.
Exactly. All the names we just
exactly. They've been the foundation of all these. Like everyone who's come through this company has become a star.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Well, we have really enjoyed the time, but what we do, I never give anybody any preparation for this. I don't know if you know what we do, but we end every interview with a go home segment.
Okay.
Where I don't know, that's a random thing from our AEW Maddie.
It's her bad Wi-Fi. It's just her text just now got through.
Sorry about that. So we end everything with a go home segment where me and Numero Dos do 20 questions, kind of like rapid fire, have nothing to do with wrestling. Like 10 from me, 10 from Numero Dos. They're rapid fire, so we say it's like a 5-second count, but it's an AEW 5-second count, so it can be like 20 seconds because referees they just stop counting randomly. So Kaun, are you ready to go home?
I'm ready. The pressure's on.
Let's do it.
All right. How far would you run? This is the whole question. I always mess it up, so let me see if I can get it right. How far would you run if you didn't know how far you had to get, but if you got there, you won $1 million? How far would you run to guarantee yourself the best shot at $1 million?
I was doing a lot of jogging when the COVID first hit during the pandemic, and I think 2.5, 3 miles. I'll do that consistently. I'll jog that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blue or red?
Almost definitely red.
Mm-hmm.
What is the ugliest car that comes to mind?
Probably my first car, which is a 2001 Daewoo Laganza. It's a small Korean car.
Daewoo's.
I remember Daewoo's.
I remember Daewoo's. I sold a few as I used. Yeah, I used to sell cars. What's the fastest you've ever driven? Car related here.
I think probably driving to Texas from Maryland, probably like 98. I'm not trying to.
Yeah. And you probably weren't speeding.
Exactly.
Keeping up with traffic.
Yep.
All right. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
6.
4. Really
so
close.
Close, though. That's the closest one yet. Cool.
Yeah.
Lake or river?
Oh, man. What? Probably river.
All right. How far can you throw a football?
Maybe 60 yards. I played D3 college football, and I used to play catch every day, so.
Damn.
60's pretty legit. That's pretty legit. Is cereal soup?
I mean, technically, right? Like you are. It is. I think it is.
I'm saying. Everyone argues with me on that one.
In your own personal heaven, what board game do you get to play every day?
Oh, damn. Honestly, probably checkers. I used to play that for my dad all the time.
All right.
Me and my son love playing that. Where's Waldo?
But no one knows, right? We can't really actually find him, like lock him down. So
nobody knows. It's a mystery.
He's everywhere and nowhere
at the same time.
Was the Twilight Saga worth anyone's attention?
Honestly, after the first book, no.
What's the last show you've binge watched?
We just watched The Act on Hulu.
What
was that about? Gypsy Rose, the girl that faked her mom made her like sit in a wheelchair and she was fake sick and collecting all those checks.
That thing was so fucked up.
I never heard about it until like 2 weeks ago. I was like, what is this?
Dude,
I gotta look
it up. Get done
now.
with that show. It's gonna recommend to watch the documentaries, and they're hard to watch. I couldn't get through it. That's if y'all are hearing about this, if you're hearing this interview, watch that.
Yep.
I'm gonna follow back up with you, Kaun, later on in a few weeks. Be like, how'd you like it?
Yeah, that's wild.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah.
Yes. Favorite Pop-Tart flavor?
What is it? I've been having this recently. Like, is it like cupcake sundae or something like that? Something with all the frosting and sprinkles in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Would you rather tell the most embarrassing story that you've ever experienced, or do 10,000 push-ups at once?
Oh, story any day.
All right.
Ain't scared. What's invisible but you wish people could see? We get deep here in the pit sometimes.
Probably feelings. I feel like people are not cognizant enough of people's feelings. So if you saw how people actually felt, like, oh shit,
Wow, how the world would be different.
It'd be a fucked up world.
Yeah, really.
How many shirts do you think you own?
Made him pop. You got him. That's a victory.
Like workout shirts alone, maybe like 40 or 50. Nicer shirts, maybe like another 20. Probably under 100 though.
Oh my god, I have like 12 shirts, man. I'm a simple guy. Like,
this is like a 15-year-old shirt I'm wearing. Do you store your cups right side up or upside down?
Right side up.
Same.
Do you take your shoes off before you walk on the carpet, or you just leave them on?
You always gotta take them off at the door.
All right.
Nice. So I said the 20 questions are random.
Mm-hmm.
Well, only 19 of them are random. The 20th question is always the same. And if you can see our little gimmick here, cartoon next to us, you might have a guess on who's on what side of this question.
Okay.
Do pineapples go on pizza?
You know what? I actually haven't had it before, but I said they do. They definitely do.
Yes, man.
Mhm.
This is great. This is just great. You got to try it. You really got. Do you like pineapples?
I do. I saw like they have to taste good on pizza, right?
It tastes great, man. Like, honestly, I don't even need it to be Hawaiian. Some people need it to be Hawaiian. I'll put it on pineapple, pepperoni. I don't care, man. Man,
Honestly,
Josh, you got to get with the times, Josh.
Yeah.
Kaun is spoken. This is a Shane Taylor promotion announcement. Pineapple goes on pizza.
I might get heat from the boys about this, but whatever.
Oh no! Hey, that's what I want to know. We should be on a quest. We should find out one by one what does everyone at Shane Taylor Promotions thinks.
Mm-hmm.
If we get all 5, I'll send you all pizza. I don't care.
Yeah, I can ask the group chat.
Hell
I
yeah!
don't know why it always happens with people I have booked on my shows. It's like, what am I doing?
Hey, if you bring some pizza like that to the show, we both gotta try it.
Speaking of which, just a quick reminder for everybody that's been watching, Kaun is going to be at PPW September 25th in Kingsville.
Soldiers of Savagery will be there. The tag
yeah, that's right. Both y'all going to be there.
That's right. Tag teams from Kaun. All serious. Thank you so much for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. Let everybody know where to find you on the socials.
You can follow me on Instagram at _Kaun and then the Kaun on Twitter. And like they said, we're on the next show. We're going to come in with these belts, and then we're leaving with the new tag belts. So that's all we're doing here. We're collecting the belts here.
Yes.
I'm calling our shot.
Nice.
Very nice. You heard it here first in the pit.
Thank you so much, Kaun. This was a pleasure. I love the interview, man.
So great. So great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Wow.
That was good. That was really good.
I like that interview.
Yeah, our first Ring of Honor talent.
Yeah. We've had
I was gonna say let's go through
Ring
this.
of Honor. We've had Ring of Honor.
NWA. NWA.
NWA.
AEW.
We've had Impact talent, haven't we? Fuck you, Mexico. I believe we had somebody from Impact. We've had AEW talent. Multiple AEW talent.
Multiple, yeah.
Multiple AEW talent.
I mean, we've had talent that's appeared on WWE TV.
We've had that's true. I mean, just about everyone.
I think we've hit almost all of them. I think Ring of Honor was one of the last ones that we haven't had. We've had people that have been on.
You know who we should try to get? I don't know if I want to say this out loud.
No one's watching.
We should reach out to. We should reach out. We should see if we can find us a thoroughbred, a stallion. We should see if we can find us an interview that would be like a stallion.
That would be amazing.
Stallion.
That would be amazing.
Man, that would be. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to hype the boys. You know, I'm trying to get everybody rowdy. Enzo Amore, Ryan. I got to ask you about this. I have questions about. What makes you think that Enzo Amore can do anything other than talk? He can't wrestle, Ryan. I agree with a lot of what you have to say, but I think Enzo Amore is one of the worst things that ever happened.
That's us filling time while my thing buffers so we can end the show.
Oh, am I filling time? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Guys, I have got to talk to you. I have a list of 57 reasons why I think bats are the best in death matches. Number 1, it's a bat. What's wrong? What could go wrong with a bat? Oh. No PowerPoint.
See ya.
Later.